Hey, it's Dr. Amanda with Straightsmile Solutions, straightsmilesolutions.com, and today we're going to talk about all kinds of dots and spots and lines and discolorations on teeth and what are they, what caused them, and what can you, less so, what can you do about them? Because I'm not a restorative dentist, so that's not really my thing. Um, I think it is important because some of the white spots are caused by hygiene issues during braces or aligner treatment. That is my wheelhouse. That is my lane. So let's talk about the difference between fluorosis, decalcification, and hypoplasia. Um, for the most part, and it's very difficult to differentiate this from this. Hypoplasia. Let's start with that. Okay, and let's talk about this. Permanent teeth, those start to calcify. I mean, they're forming when the baby's in utero. They're calcifying when the baby's towards the late end of in utero to age 1, 2. And there is some type of table there, and I might have gotten it slightly wrong. I'm just pulling this from dental school. So any funkiness that's happening when the baby's in utero or birth trauma or severe diseases, fevers, illnesses, medications that happen when the baby's 1, 2, those could show up on the front teeth later, okay, when they erupt at 7, 8, 9, 10. Then you might start to see those white spots and be like, why do I have a white spot on my tooth? Oh, maybe it's because I was in the hospital for 3 months as a baby and they had me on all kinds of high antibiotics, or I had severe fevers. You might not even know. You may have to ask your parents or your grandparents to see if they remember. So something that's was present from the time the tooth erupted. If these teeth are coming in at 8.5 and it was always had some dots on it, or it always had this line on it, is something that happened when you were a tiny itty bitty baby or in utero. Could be one of many, many, many different things. It could be white spots, brown lines, you know, uh, could be an issue with diet, nutrients, high fevers, illnesses, trauma as an infant. Um, could have fallen. Well, okay, we won't get there. Okay, that's the stuff. Or could have fallen as a kid and could have banged the baby tooth into the permanent tooth. That can cause a white spot as well. Um, or it could be that maybe the diet had too much fluoride, and that can happen. Now, if you're drinking, at least in the United States, if you're drinking city water, it's the fluoride is regulated, but a lot of people don't. So a lot of people don't drink city water for whatever reason. Maybe it tastes bad. Maybe they're worried about it. I get it. They might drink bottled water. It's not as regulated in bottled water. So a lot of times then they're taking supplements and they're getting too much. There's also certain types of foods that already naturally have high fluoride, including grapes and raisins, wine. I don't think kids are drinking wine. Oatmeal, coffee naturally, a lot of stuff. So, as well as a lot of juices, like again, they're not necessarily regulating the fluoride in the water. So it might be too high, too low. You don't know. There's no way to really easily test. So fluoride can strengthen the teeth, but too much of it can cause small white, brown, or yellow spots or dots on the teeth. I know I had one on my canine. I think I have it. It wore down since then, but I always had it since it first came in. I remember it popping in at like 10. I was like, what the heck? So that for me was, I don't think it was trauma because I don't remember having trauma. It had to have been probably fluorosis or, a fever or something. That is possible. We had a lot more illnesses back then when we were little. Or you're giving your kid too much toothpaste. I mean, you're supposed to give them non-fluoridated toothpaste for a period of time. Ask your pediatric dentist. I don't remember. And then just like, not even a pea size, it's just like a smear. So too many parents either let their kids do toothpaste themselves or they put on just a big line like they do in the commercial, which is like way too much fluoride for a kid. And then they're eating it and everything like that. And that can cause fluorosis, especially when they're little. As far as treatment, I'm not going to really go into that because I'm not a restorative dentist. Sometimes people try bleaching, microabrasion, but ultimately a lot of times you're just going to have to get veneers if it really bothers you, or they can drill out that portion of the quote unquote defective enamel and they can replace it with composite. I don't know, unless it's really obvious. I mean, I don't think this is that obvious. It might look more obvious because it's dry, but when it's wet, it's probably not that obvious, especially if you whitened them, because if you whiten them, then they're all going to look more white. This is just going to look chalky white. This is definitely more of an antibiotic line that you usually see, I would say, if I had to guess. the more brown or gray, that you're gonna have to probably do veneers. You definitely see that. And then the other one that I do know more about is decals. Decals you're gonna get from hygiene issues, especially during braces and aligners. I actually saw a bad case of aligners recently, and I guess the patient was drinking juices and energy drinks with the aligners in, so it was pooling at the edges, so there was just decay on all the cusp tips and the incisal edges, which is not something you'd see something with braces. With braces, you're going to see the decay at the gum line and probably around the bracket, so it looks like a little circle on each tooth. So that is a baby cavity. It might look similar to the naked eye, but it's fundamentally totally different. Instead of being healthy and hyper mineralized or just weird mineralized, it's not like bad, some of the other stuff, it just looks weird. It's a white spot, or a decals is a baby cavity, and it will turn into a brown decavitated cavity if you let it go. So the treatment for that is either to drill it out and replace it with a filling, or to get it on high fluoride to basically reverse the problem. Scar will probably still be there, but at least it won't turn into a cavity. And of course, diet and everything like that. So that is white and brown spots on the teeth. I'm sorry if you have them. I have some too. But just important to watch the diet and watch the toothpaste intake of the kids. Don't get too much on the anti-tap water bandwagon. Probably tap water is the best thing to drink. I know in our state, which is the state of Hawaii, it is a non-fluoridated state unless you're on a military base, which has a different source of water. So we definitely gave our kids fluoride as infants, and I know you're supposed to do it till 8 or 9, and we definitely stopped because I knew they were drinking a lot of waters and drinks and bottled drinks that already had fluoride in it, and foods that had fluoride in it, and I didn't want to overdo the fluoride. Plus, I knew we were using fluoridated toothpaste and making sure it was getting in approximately. I definitely don't let my kids rinse their toothpaste when they were little. They had to spit and leave, which is a really great way to let it soak in and not rinse right afterwards. So I think by the time my son was maybe like 2 or 3, we'd stopped the fluoride drops, and then that was that. I think we only did it as like an infant, and my kids have had 0 cavities, and they definitely, the girl, yeah, she eats a pretty crappy diet. Very high sugar diet. I mean, their hygiene is good. We've gotten that under control, at least with 2 parents as a dentist, and they have every single gadget known to man to clean their teeth. I mean, thousands of dollars worth of, a lot of times I get stuff for free, or people just give me stuff to try, or I get it at cost. For an unboxing video, I'm like, here, have this. This is cool. Cool flosser, cool toothbrush, cool water pick. So anyways, that's it. All right. Hopefully that was helpful.